This time we did your orders at LongHorn Steakhouse. In the very beginning of this going to every chain tour that kind of just came to be, everybody kept saying at this LongHorn Steakhouse that I did it wrong. And I partially agree with you because, again, it was new and I wasn't really aware of the menu, number one. But the biggest thing was that you got the wrong stuff. I said it was good, but I thought there was better. So I'm going to go here again just to see if it is, in fact, my fault or maybe it just isn't as good. But I'm going to start off with something that I never start off with, and you're going to see why in a second. First thing, there's a dude that commented this on like 30 straight videos, and I kept seeing it, and I was like, bro, when I go back. So I went back. This is the Chocolate Stampede dessert. Now, the main reason that I'm doing this first is because you can see there's ice cream here. It's going to melt, and I'm not going to have melted ice cream, so we got to do it first. The Chocolate Stampede is a giant chocolate cake that comes with 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream as well as whipped cream, and that's pretty much it. I don't know, yeah, this is a pretty big ass cake though. This comes out to $10.49. Looks like there's a chocolate mousse, chocolate cake, and then a chocolate regular. I'm not sure what the hell is in here. There's a lot of chocolate. That's exactly what's in it. It's a damn good cake. You commented this for like 30 straight days, bro. I know you're watching, so you got your wish. All right, let's break it down now. With the ice cream. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a cake guy, but this is delicious. Damn, that is good, man. This is one of my favorite desserts that I've had, and I can tell you right away. Chocolate mousse on the top is very, very smooth, and then there's like a ganache-esque. Now, ganache is more of a liquefied, but that's what it tastes like. And then just regular, this is like devil's food cake, but you shave chocolate on the top, and then adding these 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream with the whipped cream. Man, it's super rich, but that is good as hell. I am not a chocolate cake guy, and even me, I love this. Highest rating you'll ever see me give like a devil's food-esque kind of thing on here, but this is a solid 9 out of 10. One of the better chain restaurant desserts that I've had. Like, if this wasn't 9 billion calories, I would eat this myself, but I'm probably just going to eat half because they did cut it in half, and that's nice. And then give the rest away. It's very good, man. Thank you for the suggestion. We got a lot more suggestions to come. Next up, we have this incredibly, ridiculously, highly requested appetizer. These are the cheddar stuffed mushrooms. They come out to $11.29, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Again, I wasn't aware of this menu, but there were so many people that were spamming, you should have got the mushrooms, you should have got the mushrooms, that I take your suggestions for it. I wasn't the biggest fan. The Texas Tunyon was good, but, you know, it's just like everybody else. So this is apparently what is the best thing. So it's cheddar stuffed, and then it's Parmesan crusted on the top. It is an entire mushroom. So anybody who doesn't like mushrooms, I highly suggest you look away right now because I'm about to just... Again, I'm a mushroom person. It is definitely a ton of cheese in here. Really, really rich with the amount of cheese that you get in here. A little bit salty because of the Parmesan topping, but it's not overpoweringly salty for once. And I like the earthy taste of mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, don't get this. It's the same crust that they put on their Parmesan crusted chicken. That is really good. You just replace that with a mushroom. So there's nothing that I haven't tasted on here before, but it is definitely very good. Yeah. You gotta be a mushroom person. But I am a mushroom person. Again, putting this up against any chain restaurant appetizer, it's still towards the top. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's very good. No good. These firecracker chicken wraps. Everybody was talking about these and I didn't get it last time, but it was really, really a big comment. So these are like skinny versions of an egg roll, and it comes with some avocado lime dipping sauce. So this seems like a Southwest egg roll from Chili's. If it's better, then I'm gonna love these for damn sure because I love the Chili's. They give you a ton of this avocado lime stuff. But I'm gonna do the first bite with no nothing in it. This doesn't have a lot of filling. It's kind of a letdown, but this part does. So I'm gonna go from the front to back. This is like a spicy queso with chicken in an egg roll. So while it does remind me of a Southwest egg roll, it is definitely not a Southwest egg roll because of the amount of queso that's in here. It's really cheesy and there's a good amount of chicken. Let's try this avocado lime. If this is good, this might go crazy. That's exactly what it is, so. It's a kicked up version. of that. These are really good. Really good. Come in here. This is much more flavorful than the Chili's version, which I love, which makes this S tier, because Chili's has an S tier. But adding that to like cool off a little bit of the suburban spicy queso with the good chunks of chicken in it, again, this is better than the Texas Tunyon, which I gave a 9. I do wish that they had something in here other than the chicken and the cheese, because it just gives off like a taquito type of, you know, it's like cheapish, but it doesn't take away from when you dip in this avocado lime. It's very good. Lime flavor really pops with that. I'll give this a 9.3 out of 10. It's a very, very good appetizer. If I went to Texas Roadhouse again, these would be the stuff that I order. Like, you guys' order is better than mine. I'll be the first one to admit it. This is good. Finally, we are on to our entree. Man, this is like it got messed up because it popped in the car. But, I mean, everybody, last time I got a sirloin, and everybody, it was so commented that I was like, I have to go back here specifically for this. So this time I got their outlaw ribeye. Everybody suggested the outlaw ribeye. A lot of you said to get the Parmesan crusting. So that is what I did this time. This is a $40 meal. It comes with 2 sides. I did get their bacon mac and cheese, which they labeled wrong for whatever reason. This is their bacon mac and cheese. It says seasoned rice. And then the seasoned rice is here. I didn't get their seasoned rice last time, and a lot of people suggested that I get it. That is what I did this time. I need a spoon. This is not going to work. Yes, I keep utensils in my center console. It's very important. Let me try the seasoned rice first. Now, Texas Roadhouse is the gold standard for seasoned rice, so let's see what we got. It's good. Texas Roadhouse's is better in my opinion, but ambulance. The rice is a little more al dente. It's like undercooked, but the flavor on it is what I'm really talking about. Texas Roadhouse's is much more seasoned, much more flavorful. This is a decent seasoned rice. It's the second best one I had. It is better than Outback's. I would give this an 8 out of 10 on a chain scale. If this is just regular rice, it'd probably be like a 6, where it's like, but we all know, some of you may not know that I try to rate things to scale. The outlaw ribeye with the Parmesan crusting, for a big dog ribeye like this to be $40 for like a meal. This is why I've said this a bunch of times, bro. I would rather go to a place like LongHorn or Outback or something like that than these expensive ass steakhouses, because these are comparably good in my opinion. Now I gotta cut this with a steak knife, which is kind of tough in a car. Okay, so here it is with the Parmesan crust. It's a perfect medium rare from looking at the cook on this. Please excuse the cut. Cutting this in a to-go tray with a butter knife is not easy to do. That is an exponentially better steak than the one I got. It's not even close. Again, I screwed up by not getting the ribeye. The funny part is, the ribeye is my favorite cut of steak. It's like what I get, and I didn't get it. This one's way more seasoned. It's got good marbling going through it, and the fat on this is rendered down to a great point. It's liquidy. It should liquefy. I've had steaks where the fat's chewy. When it's cooked right, this fat should render down to the point that it's palatable. And this one is. The Parmesan is good, but I don't really think it's necessary on the steak, to be real. I would have just liked to get the steak by itself, but I wanted to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to take a piece of this and just lift up a little bit of the see what's on this without the marbling. Cutting the steak with a butter knife is wild. Y'all have no idea. Fuck this, man. We just gonna grab this damn thing. I'm done trying to be cute. I'm biting it. It's a good ass steak. This is just as good as Texas Roadhouse's steak. Straight up. It's just as seasoned. The fat is rendered down well. It's grilled well. And value for dollar, it's a big ass piece of steak. So, y'all were right. But do I think one is better than the other as far as restaurants goes? We'll talk about it at the end. But as far as the steak goes, it's very comparable. On a chain scale, this and Texas Roadhouse were better than Outback. But maybe we'll spin the block for Outback again. I would give this a 9.5 out of 10, which is what I gave Texas Roadhouse's ribeye. It's very damn good. But I prefer Texas Roadhouse's finisher, which is the onions and mushrooms, over the Parmesan. I like the Parmesan again. It's way better on the chicken. I just don't think you need it on the steak. It takes away from the steak. It's my opinion. And then finally, I think I actually did. I got this last time, but everybody kept talking about it. And I did say this before, so I'm going to try it again. But this is their bacon mac and cheese with the breadcrumbs on the top. Little pieces of bacon as opposed to some places we eat these big chunks, which I think takes away from the mac. I said this last time and I'll say it again. As far as chains go, this is one of, if not the best, of the mac and cheeses. It's creamy. The breadcrumbs are Parmesan a little bit, so it adds a little bit of that salty bite to it and texture, but it's not flavorless cheese. The texture on this is good, and the flavor on this is also good. Not the best mac and cheese I've ever eaten in my life, but from a steakhouse, a chain steakhouse, I've gone to Ruth's Chris, Morton's, Chart House. You get the idea. This is just as damn good as any of them. Honest to goodness. This gets a 9 out of 10. Again, I'm going to be real. I took you guys' suggestions. I have never really been to these chain restaurants, so I don't really know what to get from a lot of these places. The only one that I was slightly familiar with was Texas Roadhouse. With that being said, LongHorn Steakhouse, if you go for steaks and certain things, is right on par. Personally, I give the edge to Texas Roadhouse. I think the appetizers are slightly better, and I think the sides are slightly better. The mac and cheese is comparable, but all the other stuff, in my opinion, Texas Roadhouse has a slight edge. Like the seasoned rice and the beans and things of that nature. But again, it's largely based off of what you like. And if you're just going for steak, I think you can't beat either of these places if you are in the mood for a chain steakhouse. These, to me, are just as good, and in some cases better, especially value for dollar-wise, than all of those expensive-ass steakhouses. That's why I always give love to these places. I think the high-end steakhouses are a ripoff, and I've been to all of them. The reason you go to places like that is more because of the atmosphere, special occasion. You want to take somebody out on a fancy date. You know, you want to feel like a baller. I understand that because I've done it. But this, to me, value for dollar, this same meal at a steakhouse would have cost me double what I paid. This was $40. At a steakhouse for a 20-ounce ribeye, forget the sides. You're usually paying $70, $80, sometimes $90 and more dollars. With the sides, because you order family style, it's not as comparable because you get sides for the whole table, but just the steak cost that. Forget about the crusting or anything else about that. So if you want to save money, but you want to have a nice fancy steak and you don't feel like cooking, which is the best value for dollar, I think these are good. Because I am humble enough to admit that I am more of just a person who likes food. I am not just, especially when it comes to chain places, which is why this has been fun to me. LongHorn Steakhouse has moved slightly underneath Texas Roadhouse as my favorite of the chain steakhouses, and it has moved into the general top 5 of any of these chain sit-down restaurants with how good this was today. That's just being real. Even though I have a migraine, which I've had for like the last 2 days, and I'm not screaming and doing all this stuff like that, this is fire. Absolute heat. And that Stampede chocolate thing, you had that one, bro. That's the goods. As I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, like I've for whatever reason, the weather, when there's like a change in degree drop, because it was really hot and it dropped down to like the low to mid 80s, I always get like really bad headaches when that happens. It's been like a hereditary thing. It happens my whole life. So I just feel like crap right now. But that's not going to stop the content. It's not going to stop any of that. I wanted to make sure I did this. This was something I had planned. I think I want to do Outback again on a weekday. LongHorn I did on a weekend. It was super packed. Today is a weekday. It's not that packed. So I want to do Outback again on a weekday. Outback is literally down the street from here. Like they're like a mile apart, I swear to God. So I think next week, if this video does well, you guys drop comments and show me how you like feel about stuff like this. This is how it always does. We'll do Outback again. Outback was really packed that day. I went on Sundays for both places and like it was a Zoom. I know if I go on a weekday like this, it's not going to be bad. Right now, it's about 6:30 on a Thursday, and parking lot is pretty empty for what it is. There's some people there, but when you go on Sundays, it's like wild. It's mobbed, and the food quality takes a hit. It's noticeable. I did the same thing with Texas Roadhouse. So I want to do the same thing at Outback as long as the video and people want to see it. So make sure you drop a thumbs up, drop comments. Let me know what you like from Outback. if we do that again, because I'm going off of, this is you guys, not me. And I trust y'all. So let's do this, man. We back tomorrow. More content, man. The hand signs, they made it to YouTube.